Raising the minimum wage in the United States would be bad for the economy. My name is David Oakes, and I have a curiosity about economic topics. I have a concern for our economy, and I hope by the end of this you'll share that same concern. I'll be talking about the importance of jobs to the economy, minimum wage law's effect on jobs, and what we can do to break this cycle. It is an indisputable fact that the more money U.S. workers have is good for the economy. 70% of our economy is based on purchases, that is, goods and services. It is so much a concern that you can't listen to any Wall Street news in the last 6 months without hearing something about the stagnation of wage growth. Companies are concerned about the wages not going anywhere, just like we are, but companies also have to worry about their bottom lines. Whenever companies look at wage expenditures and wage stagnation, they take emotions out of it, which is where a lot of the discussion fails on the common person's part to understand the situation that's going on. One of the things that emotions get interjected to is the single mother raising a kid on minimum wage. That is an emotional ploy put forth by people. You can go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and find that over 50% of those making minimum wage, which is 3.9% of the working population, is below the age of 24. So we use these emotional things to justify our positions, but it doesn't go over well with Wall Street. They are concerned just like we are, but the bottom line question without emotions involved is how to extract more wealth for the U.S. worker from these companies and still keep the jobs here. It is also, whenever we look at the job situation, we understand that starting in the 1970s, as wages began to increase, manufacturing began to ship overseas. This is known as outsourcing, and it became a real problem with U.S. manufacturing. There was a huge shift to service industry, so much so that 70% of our economy is now based on services. One of the things that the U.S. worker has in their advantage is that services are very difficult to outsource. You can't really ship somebody preparing a meal for you to another country. So this is kind of in our advantage as U.S. workers. There was one gentleman, a chef in Seattle named Tom Douglas, an award-winning chef, who felt so strongly about this issue that he decided to raise his own cook's minimum wages up to $15 an hour. Tom Douglas has recently been quoted as saying that this ate his profits. Now, one of the other things that workers face in the U.S. economy is technology replacing jobs. Right now, companies have deemed spending money on workers more affordable than purchasing high-priced technology to replace the workers. But companies like McDonald's in Europe, Applebee's here in the United States with their little kiosk thing on the side of the table where you can order drinks, pay your bills, order desserts, and our grocery stores with their automated checkout lines have begun to replace jobs in the United States. So we are up against technology as well. We can try to boycott some of this technology and do what we can to counteract it, but it's just stemming the tide of technology replacing jobs. The Luddites in the early 1800s tried to counteract this, and they even went as far as destroying machinery. But we know where we're at today, with U.S. manufacturing and technology replacing it, or replacing the jobs. As I see it, one of the huge problems that the U.S. workforce faces is the lack of education. This is where the real problem comes from. When we look at countries that we want to emulate, like the Netherlands, Japan, South Korea, and Germany, those countries have made huge investments in their education of their people. It is not a secret to economists that there is a link between education and wealth. So we need those minimum wage jobs until our government decides to tackle education instead of minimum wage. When we raise minimum wage, it is an indisputable fact that jobs will be cut or replaced, or it'll stifle job growth within the US economy. This will leave people unemployed and still uneducated. We need to change our conversation from minimum wage to raising our education level, and then we won't have such a wage disparity. But until that time, minimum wage needs to stay where it's at, because jobs can be replaced, especially in the service sector, which is facing replacement by technology. Thank you.